Joining us this morning once again, KTVU political reporter Ross Palumbo and political analyst Brian Sobel. First, I'll start with you, Brian. The general consensus appears to be Hillary stayed on top, Bernie Sanders did well, and who were those three other guys?
Well, I think that's accurate. You know, Chafee really wasn't even present at most times in the debate. I thought O'Malley did a pretty good job, and he came in third in my mind. But generally, it was Clinton and it was Bernie Sanders, and that was it.
I want to ask you something about Joe Biden. After Hillary's performance last night, she seemed pretty steady and poised. Does that mean that he has waited too long to get in, or is still plenty of time for him to get in?
My opinion is plenty of time to get in. He watched that last night. Now, she did a very good job and may have quelled the concerns about whether she could carry this through to the end. But Biden is the game changer if he decides to get in, and Washington contacts tell me he's really, it's 51-49.
Some of those real issues, poverty, trade policy, really just about a democracy. But in that conversation, I thought, Brian, which was interesting, and the same to you, Ross, Clinton said, look, I've made a mistake about that. I was in the wrong. I'm being transparent. Is it appropriate for a presidential candidate to say I've made a mistake? Does it not hit on her credibility if she becomes president?
No, I think it's human to make a mistake and to try to explain it. But bear in mind who the audience was last night. These were Democrat partisans in that room, whether they were getting the word out to the rest of America. And eventually, bear in mind, she's going to have to pivot if it's Hillary Clinton to get a lot of Republicans to vote for her. So she was actually very good last night at nuancing things and kind of going down the middle of the stream. But doesn't matter what Bernie Sanders says. Polling tells you the email scandal is still a big deal in terms of credibility.
I liked her response, though, when the moderator, Anderson Cooper, said, do you want to respond to the email scandal? And she
wonderful.
said, no.
No, it was a wonderful answer.
But what about this, Brian? Do you think that Bernie Sanders' presence has pushed Hillary to the left? And is that going to mean problems for her in the general election when she has to come back to the middle?
Well, it's sort of to my earlier point. She was pivoting all last night, looking further down the road. But Bernie Sanders is not going to be her competition at the end of the day. The only person on that stage last night that will emerge from this process is Hillary Clinton, unless Joe Biden gets in. Bernie Sanders isn't ending up with the nomination or even on the ticket. So to the extent that he pushes her a little bit to, to give fuller answers and so forth, that's one thing. But really, from Hillary Clinton's perspective, this is an opportunity to work issues and to talk to the American people.
And what a difference in tone in tone and in subject matter compared to the two Republican debates we've seen so far.
Well, I actually heard something very funny about this. People are actually saying that the Republican debate was reality TV. This debate was simply reality.
The issues.
They actually weren't slamming each other, attacking each other, talking about Rosie O'Donnell. They were talking about the issues that matter to most Americans.
But keep in mind that the Republican stage, the platform was huge, and so there was an attitude there that we've got to get our 15 seconds
gotta
here.
Make my splash.
Right, exactly. And I think last night what you saw was probably all those camps getting together, because a lot of this is highly scripted, saying, hey, we're not going to attack each other. We're going to keep the focus on the Republicans. And about every 15 minutes, almost like clockwork, Hillary Clinton brought up the Republicans again.
Right.
Because that's the focus.
How early are swing voters engaged? Because swing voters at the end of the day end up deciding the election. Are they paying attention, or is this just preaching to the base?
Bear in mind, we are a long way away from the election. So the answer is basically no. I mean, people are getting personalities, they're tuning in, but they haven't made any decisions. Even last night in the package here, you heard a couple of people saying, I don't know yet.
Yeah. Well, more debates to come. You both had a
Absolutely.
late night last night. I saw you on the 10. Thanks for joining us here on the 9.
My pleasure.
Sobel, Ross
Thanks, Brian.
Palumbo. Thanks,
Thanks,
you
Ross.
guys.
Sure.